Hello, Vasileia. How are you? I think you know me, but I have to introduce myself. So my name is Asli Bolayir. Um, I say it in English or to people to understand, because when I pronounce it in Turkish, they can't understand my name. It's very difficult to hear it, but it's like that. So tell me about you a little bit.
So I'm Vasileia Anaxagora. I know I have changed your name so many times that it's no longer Asli, but it's, you pronounced it. It's Asli, right?
Asli.
Asli. Okay. So
I mean,
need to work on
normally
it.
it's Aslı, but
Asli.
it's okay.
It's hard,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it correct. I hope. So I'm Vasileia, even though you know me. How was your week? I saw you last week.
Yeah, we met for the first time. Yes,
last week.
It was a nice meeting. Yeah. Since then, yeah, it was a busy week.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I had my workshops and yeah.
When are you planning to go back to Barcelona?
It depends on the work. Normally, I plan at the end of March. Now we will see. Yeah.
And when is your next show? I think it's soon. You have a big show coming up.
Yeah, next show it will be in Barcelona in 23, but in March.
In March.
1 year
yes.
time, almost. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you told me that you were planning things. So tell us about these things.
Okay. I'm gonna have a solo exhibition in June, which is going to be about the politics of grief and mourning at the time of the pandemic. We discussed about it a little bit. So I'm actually gathering or producing material around the very changing definition of what it means to go through grief now that everything has been really individualistic and isolating. So I'm working around that, which is more interdisciplinary, because I was I do painting mostly, but then at times I kind of divert and explore different things, which I think it's what you do too.
Yes. So when will be?
In June.
Yes.
In June, it's gonna be in Nicosia.
Yes.
So I've got a lot.
So how you feel this creative process for you? How is going on?
I don't know. I think it's what you told me last week too. It's that it has its ups and downs. I don't know. At the beginning, it was great to work in isolation because you had all the time to do stuff and create stuff. But then, what I miss the most is that I'm so isolated and kind of scared that I lost contact and touch with what's going on around me. And now, it's very hard to try and maintain a balance, to be, here and not be all over the place. But I don't know. You said something that struck me last week when you said that at the end of the day, COVID is good, the pandemic was good because it taught us that nothing really is stable ever. So I guess I don't know.
Yes, we have to learn to live in determination,
Yeah.
Or the things that we want to control, but we can't control things, and we have to learn with this. But do you think? I know that we talked about this last week, but I don't know if do you think that we learned something from COVID? I mean, from COVID era, let's say, when everything was locked down and we were at our houses, and I mean, I thought that yeah, at the end we are going to understand that the world is changing. We have to adapt ourselves to the world. And when everything was open again, it was like worse than before. And I was so sad, oh, how we are going to learn something.
Yeah.
If really we are going to learn something, or
Yeah, because I mean, there was this kind of romanticizing at the beginning when the first lockdown happened in
Yeah.
March 2020,
Yeah.
that we're gonna, get over this and we will become better persons, and then we will learn something from this. But at the end of the day, it depends on the person, right? It depends. So when I was making work at the time of the pandemic, I kind of felt that obligation that since nothing else is going on, I had to work twice as hard and twice as much. So I had to be productive 100%. Even if the world was falling apart, we had to be there. We had to be, to do something.
yeah.
We couldn't just sit there and, chill. So I think that was a very good indication that nothing was going to change for the better, really.
Yeah.
I don't know how you see it. I don't know how much that affected you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the problems that we had in the pandemic, as you said. So now that we are in the new normality, let's say, or in a new normal continuation of after the COVID or post-COVID, what kind of problems do you see that we can have, or we have?
I mean, as we make work, I don't know. Maybe we share it too. It's that precarity, you know. It has always been there, but now I feel that the problem is kind of. I mean, I don't know. I need to think about it. How the problem is how. No, let me rephrase this. How this precarity is affecting my work.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe one of the problems is the fact that I'm diverting from one thing to the other. It's like it's a non-stop thing for me. Then it's it's COVID, and then something else happens,
Yeah.
and then I need to pay attention to that, and then I forget about COVID, and then COVID is back in the equation, and then something else happens, and then I forget about the second thing. So it's kind of I can, it's too much. That's one of the problems. And it's affecting my work because I see my work as, as the personal being, political in that sense. It's very, what's happening around it, how I perform around these social arrangements is affecting my work. So.
But don't you think that it's something good? I mean, something good in a sense, if this precarity is affecting your work and you can express it, or you can say it in a way, or you can live it in that way. Don't you think that it can give us some clues about the moment that we are living?
I don't know. Do you think it's good?
Yeah, I think because why we are doing art then? I mean, of course, we can't say that we are doing art because art is this and that's it. It's so open.
Exactly, yes.
And for example, if you, in your case, if you leave it like this and you can express it in your work, I think it's very. It can be an area of resistance area in a way, because creating is always something resistance. It gives us resistance to continue.
No.
So in that sense, it can help us and it can communicate in another way.
I guess, yes, in terms of, the complexity and the richness of what we do, yes, I agree with you. But at the same time, I need that space to kind of zone out and see what's And I think that's the difficult part now. You know, everything is back on track, and I'm back on track. I see what's happening. I find ways. So we find different ways of, you know, showing our work.
Yeah.
We go virtually. We use social media.
Yes. But when you say, for example, precarity, it was interesting, because we have to find, when they cut us things that we can't do, we have to create something, even it is a small thing, or even it's nothing. Imagine that they can lock us down in a prison. It was like that a little bit. It's not almost, but it was like that. So the creation, it changed from that point on, because we get. I mean, personally, I was in my life. It was a big, harsh stop. I stopped, and I didn't know what was going on, and it took me time to understand what was going on. So I didn't want to do anything. I was like there, and I was listening and open my eyes and see what's going on. Suddenly, all the world was stopped, and it was for me for the first time that everybody was doing the same thing. We were at our houses, and we couldn't get out. And I was in Barcelona, and I was in a big city, let's say, and I couldn't even go to outside. I mean, so I started to ask myself a lot of questions about what is life, what is living, how can we live without nature, or how we are treating to nature and to our nature, because we are not able to live alone. We have to, I mean, we are designed to be with people. We are to communicate, to live together. So when they separated us like this, it was very violent. I lived that violence.
That's why I haven't decided yet whether us trying to find different avenues in, you know, finding a voice and refuge to what was happening was resistance. I'm not sure whether that was resistance or it was actually the only way forward. So I haven't. So that's another thing that would be interesting to see, and it would actually be, you know, a huge part of our, you know, personally at least, to see what my aspirations really are. Because if my aspirations, if I dream of something, if I have, you know, a specific goal, but then everything is so fragile, then it's always up to me to find avenues, which is a hard stop. Not hard stop. It's a hard position to be in. It's it's a demanding position to be in. To be 100%, you know, there, to be 100% all the time alert. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And it's not. So for me, it's not just what happened in March 2020, but it's how we create now. Even now that if people ask me what is my aspiration now, I don't know. I guess I'm taking every day as it comes.
Yeah, but do you think it's a bad thing?
No, maybe, I don't know. It's a redefinition, okay?
Yeah.
So a redefinition to you, I mean, if you define something, it's probably going to be different than how I do it.
Yeah.
So it may be good, but it may be bad at times too. So.
Yeah, but this time thing is, I mean, how we live time and how we live our daily life is very important. And I think this lockdown period showed us lots of things, that we were worried about the future without living in the moment, and with our preoccupations from I did this in the past and now I should do another thing, I should do this, I should do that. But you can't plan anything. That's what we talked last.
No, you can't. No, it's true, because you can plan, but at the same time, even though the way we think is not the conventional structured way, at least it's my brain works really. It's a chaotic place to be in, but even so, I kind of need a structure.
Yeah.
That's what I
yeah.
kind of. It's too much to process still for me, and I guess I take this time in the experiences, and I kind of make work out of it. But then I make work about something that really bothers me, and then at the same time, something else comes up that bothers me too, and then I'm like, okay, I want to do that, I want to do that. You can't do everything. So it's what you said. So it's kind
yeah,
of
but in this complexity, or let's say in this chaotic situation, let's do art in that chaos. Maybe it will be a new ways, or new ways of being and new ways of doing things. Yeah, in a chaotic way. Why not? I think it will be interesting.
I mean, that's what we do. I mean, that's what artists have, diachronically been doing, I guess.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, art for art's sake, that's what I'm saying. Artists that, really, the way I see it at least is that, an artist works as a social reporter of the time he or she is living.
Yeah.
So we're kind of creating it. Even if it wasn't COVID, it would have been something else. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It would have been something else. Maybe it wasn't COVID, but I don't know. Something else. So again, that chaos is, it's part of our, it's what you said, I guess, this existentialist paradigm we all go through.
Mm-hmm.
And then we create as an avenue.
Yes. So what do you think, for example, how, because you are teaching in a school as well,
Mm-hmm.
so how can we prepare children to be in this new world or new era of after COVID? I mean, creation. How can we prepare them or influence them to be more creative or use creativity in their lives? How can we inspire them, let's say?
It's a hard question, to be honest, because I keep on, go back and forth whether is it our job to inspire someone. Then I go back to that thing that yes, we should, and then when I try doing it and if it fails, I go back to okay, this is not my job. But I guess because again with teaching, I was teaching last year when I was teaching online, which is very hard to teach art online.
Yeah.
So I had to be creative in how I taught art online.
Yeah.
So what I made my students do, especially when it was, precisely when it was lockdown, I made them work digitally. So I made them create video, video work about, video art about their everyday life in lockdown. And what was so interesting is that these kids were 14, 15 years old, and they beautifully articulated, the vast majority articulated how profoundly negatively lockdown has affected their everyday life. And it was at that point actually that I was inspired to see how grief is no longer just about losing a person, but it's about losing your everyday activities.
Yes.
So how do we inspire them? I guess you inspire kids by being honest with them.
Yeah.
And posing them questions. What would have been different? Why is it like that? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what you said, for example, being sincere with them and making them curious, I think, is what you did by asking them to film their everyday life. It's making them curious about their life, which is not very interesting in that moment, but find some points out that it can be something dull, it can be interesting. So this can open more ideas, this can open them more points of view to see their life in another way. So in that sense, creativity played a role.
It did, I guess. I mean, I had some colleagues, art teachers, that were saying, we can't do art online, it's impossible. I said, yes, probably we can do drawing and painting online, okay. Yes, but then maybe we should think how, in what way art, or a different type of art, could, be incorporated. And I think what was very interesting to see is that students engage with the context, the contemporary context. So if you go and cross-reference things that actually affect them today. So I was teaching them about Ways of Seeing by John Berger, okay, the famous book. So I was actually just a small part of that book because it's so vast. So I was showing them how in what ways they could actually reinterpret what they see.
Yes.
And that they're, depending on their experiences, they can change how they understand art, a poem, a song, a movie.
Yeah.
So, and it was striking to see how they brought things from popular culture.
Yeah.
Things that they could understand. Obviously, they wouldn't understand a Rembrandt painting
but
in its totality because they're not living at that time now.
No, even they can't go and see Rembrandt.
No,
I mean,
they can't, exactly. Exactly.
So, but it can give them curiosity. It can give them things to explore. And what you did, I think it's very good. But this was the.
I don't know if it worked. For some students it worked,
of course.
But for others, and I guess we should stop treating them. What online teaching at least taught me is that it's bad to assume that all kids have access to a computer and they could benefit from online teaching. It's not a good way to see it, but at least the teachers that were creative in finding other modes of learning. Because I gained a lot of that process. I gained a lot of knowledge, and it was demanding. It was my first time teaching, and I did half of the first year teaching online. It was crazy. So
yes, because it was difficult to get in touch with them with the screen in front of you and in front of them. I mean, the screen was the barrier, let's say.
It was a barrier, and it was a barrier even for us. In not just if you teach, but even when we make or made work, or maybe we still have the same problem. We have the ongoing barrier of the digital. So I had, even though I'm supposedly tech friendly. I'm not that tech friendly, I'm not very tech savvy. I'm not, but I understand it. I live in this world, but I had to find ways. I had to learn stuff.
Yeah. And yes, because I don't know, it gives me the impression that when we are doing things online or like, let's say, these Zoom meetings or things like that, it's always you are missing something because you can't see the other. You see the face, plain face in front of you, and you can't teach, and you can't see exactly like we are doing here. I can move, yeah, from the screen, but it was like a. So I needed that that kind of the contact, because if not, how we are going to connect with each other? I think that was the part of the things that it makes me feel like how we are going to connect now with people, and it makes me a little bit fear. And as you said, we should learn this, or I don't know if there will be another ways.
I don't know. So, what do you think? Where do you see yourself now? Where are you going now, with all these that you picked up? Because you said that it was a very harsh experience. So, what?
Yes, it was
the beginning, and then now. How do you see yourself?
It makes me look at my work and my life in a way. I should take things with ease, and I should go instead of doing or producing, just producing, to take things easily and ask myself if I really what I need, if I need to make this, I do, because there is lots of as we stopped and suddenly we start again. There is lots of things we have to do again with this, and it makes me that kind of it's like hysteria. It makes me feel like, oh my God, now we should calm down and we should.
Makes you anxious.
Yeah.
It stresses you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And I prefer to go more slowly and asking these kind of questions to myself if really I need to produce, or to create.
Do you think that working between Nicosia and Barcelona helps you in this process? Because you're changing scenery.
Yeah, it helps me. It helps me. It helps me. Okay, it's true that I can change the decoration. Almost the same problems is everywhere, and it makes me to see the world or where I live as a whole, not like a separation. So as we live in an island here, it's true that we feel that we are separated from the world because it's normal. We are an islander, so it makes us more. But this kind of, when I'm making this bridge between Barcelona and Cyprus, I see that we are not so. These problems are everywhere, so I can make the dots and I can find I can see it in a different way. So it helps me.
Yeah, like because I was in Larnaca before June, so I moved in Nicosia now. In June, last June. But and before that I was abroad for many years.
Yes.
So I kind of, it was that shock when I came back, but not a shock that, people are not engaging with what I do. I think it was quite the opposite, because I felt that a smaller place like Cyprus has a lot of ground to actually create so many different things, and Cyprus is so rich in history.
Yes.
That if you take it, every layer you take out of Cyprus, you get something else, like a sub-layer, which makes it so interesting. But at the beginning, it was that when I moved here for good. I don't know if it's for good, but yeah.
For the moment, let's say.
For the moment, yes. What I saw is that it was a shock of, now I'm alone here.
Yeah.
It's what I do here. I'm in the here, and abroad, I mean, I'm not going to see what's happening abroad. I'm not going to extract. Then I realized that I'm bringing back COVID. That it made me see that the world is so much connected. Okay, it's not so isolating at the end of the day.
Yes.
Cyprus may be small, but it may be small, but it's part of a bigger equation, and that is, and that comes with its problems, of course, and
Yes.
with its with the good and the bad, I guess.
Yes.
Which, especially now, there's this trend, we discussed it, about the arts and people engaging with the arts, which was great. It's great, but at the same time it has its problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and do you think we should ask ourselves what we want really, so we can make our choices and we can go in that direction, or we should try things, and by trying we say, okay, I want this, I don't want that. We can make our path or our way in that sense.
I think it's if we take into consideration the knowledge we gained from the past 2 years, then I guess we should go follow the road as it comes.
Yeah.
And then improvise as we go along. But at the same time, when we do that, it doesn't mean that everything is chance and everything, chance as in everything is experimentation. Yes, you need experimentation in order to. There is nothing, I guess, in an art practice that comes by the book.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know what you think, but I feel that there is nothing by the book. It's
your experience. Yeah. It's how you, what you want to say, how you live, and what you feel, and what's your experimentation. And it's always experimenting. Without experimenting, we can't go. Because it's not something, it may be an equation, but it's not the equation that I learned in the school from the maths. Yeah.
No, it's not. I think we went by the book up until the point we were in an art school, and then that was it. Then it's never by the book.
But we learn what we erase what we learn, and we learn something else, and every day it's like that.
I remember when I started as an art student, I wanted to be an artist in New York and produce work there, and then now everything is different. I want to be here. I'm in the right place now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Vamos. Okay.
So I'm at the right place now, and again, at this place now, obviously the surrounding is affecting what's happening. The context that I'm living in, Cyprus in general, the events is affecting my work. Of course, it's I'm in the right place though. I'm in the right time. I'm doing my work, and I get all this information from everywhere, and it's inevitable. I work and I'm affected by it. So I don't know. I don't know if you share the same.
For example, for me, if we talk about Cyprus, yes, of course, Cyprus is always in my work. But how Cyprus problem affects my life or my inner world, let's say, I have difficulties there because, difficulties in a sense, geographically, not politically, but geographically, I refuse to accept that it's divided. But the reality that I live, politically, it is divided. So I have this confusion all the time.
The binary, yeah.
Yes, and yeah, okay, of course, politics. Sometimes I get upset, and I said, okay, I'm not going to listen any politic things because they are crazy. They are playing with our lives, and they don't even ask us, and they decide the silly things. But at the end, everything is politics. Everything is politics in a say, not in the way that they are acting the politics, but how we do art, how we live our lives, what we choose, what we do, with whom we are, what kind of people or what kind of love we choose. Even in that is there. So we should be more aware of our environment, and I think we should be more respectful where we live. But respect is something that, okay, politics, let's say, in a way they are doing, is not there in their agenda, I think.
No, I mean, depends how one defines respect, I guess. But, what's interesting is that you say that everything we do, like every action we take, it's kind of a political stance, but not political in the sense as, I don't mean partisan.
Yes.
So it's political. Even if you choose to go vegan, it's a political choice.
Yeah.
It is. So even if let's say you choose to create a specific, art piece, or maybe you don't choose, you experiment and then it comes. That's how it goes usually for me. It's your choice is always affected by the bigger picture, whether we like it or not, whether it's conscious or subconscious, whether it's directly or indirectly.
Yes, it's to do with it's to do with also how we influenced. I mean, how we influenced by our environment and what we do to be in that environment. For example, in Cyprus, let's say in the north, we don't care about the nature. When I pass in the south, I can say, okay, they don't really take care of the nature, but not as in the north. And it makes me feel horrible, because what we have is our island, it's our nature. So what kind of respect we have to that, and what we do for that? How we are going to push the politicians or the policymakers or the people who are there that we voted, that they do things for our nature.
Do you feel though that as an artist you have like an obligation to, or not an obligation, I think it's a heavy word, a responsibility to address that problem or those problems?
Yeah, I think what we are doing in our work, let's say contemporary art, what is? No. It's always there. We are saying it in a way. But how we are going to make people to interest in art? That's why I asked the question how we can make children to be interested in art, or how we can make children to be creative, because it is important.
Then I guess we're living in a very dangerous time now, because nothing that's happening, and it's not just in Cyprus, I think it's a global thing. Nothing that's happening now in the today is, neutral or without a force that is, either socially or politically or ideologically, imputed. So I guess you can't. It's like at the end of the day, an artist really is, it's not a social being. Okay, so I guess we interact the same way as a lawyer interacts. As a, you know, we interact. Maybe we have different avenues to not avenues. We have different ways of understanding what's happening, and different ways of expressing it. But at the end of the day, an artist is not, you know, a single entity that is, you know, that stereotype of an artist that is not. It doesn't have a sense of what's happening. That's not an artist. That's, you know what I mean? That's not.
No, because you get influenced and you live in a society. Even if you don't want to be part of many things, we are part of many things. And what do you think about this globalization of mediocrity, for example, or globalization of banality, or globalization of ignorance?
No, that you kind of. I mean, I kind of think that ignorance and this passivity, I would say, because it's more like a passivity. It benefits the few, but it. That's actually, when you talked about resistance, that's actually what resistance is about. To actually go against that wave of passivity that has been, you know, presented to us through, you know, social media, through media, traditional media in general, and through, you know, common practices. So that's the form of resistance that one can take on, whether it's he or she is an artist or not. So to get a book, and you know, go through it and actually question authority, and question what's been given, question the produced knowledge that is, you know, the concrete thing. I think that's where resistance happens. Is not resistance. Is not. I don't understand it as anything else except that, to be honest.
And yeah.
I don't know what you think, but I guess I don't know. It's very. I don't know. I kind of feel that the way we perform, like not perform, the way we make work, both of us, it's kind of around those notions, those understandings. So it's kind of, you know, bridging it, because bridging these kind of similarities, but at the same time embracing the differences that may be there. So, yeah.
Yes. So, how we are going to frame all we talk, and what we can say as a finishing point, let's say.
I mean, we could talk a bit. I don't know. I guess I don't know. What would you say as a finishing?
I like to say, for example, I like to see more people who is looking for, who is interested in beauty. When I say beauty, it's not beauty. When I say beauty, it's beauty of the nature, beauty of the humankind, beauty of the animals, beauty. And I like to collect, make a group or more than group. I mean, lots of people. Yeah, exactly. Collective of people that are seeking for this beauty, because we have lots of things, the ugly things all around us, And for example, in which sake we are doing art is important as well. In the name of I don't know what, and we are going to live with that art every day, and we are not going to connect to it, and it gives me, I think it's violence. So I need more simple things and more beauty in simple things, and to be with people in a simple way, doing art in a simple way, being together in a simple way, and in a good way, in a good I don't know, but beauty. Let's say beauty is something that I like to see more.
You know, I've been picking all the words you were just saying, beauty and ugly and simplicity, and you know, when you were talking, I was thinking maybe I agree, maybe, I mean, not 100%, but what I take from it is that I wish for that innocence to be maintained, the innocence of the adult or the innocence of the child.
Yeah.
The innocent to comprehend that there are many things as individuals that we could share, but not from a privileged position. So I mean, I won't go and say that I understand someone when I have no idea what they're talking about, but actually feel this compassion and be ready to understand the differences, okay, embrace the differences, but then, you know, walk hand in hand.
Yeah.
Even so, you know.
Yes.
So it was so beautiful what you were saying, because I think it's something that has really been, you know, left aside, this innocence.
Yes.
The innocence of everyday life.
So let's live in everyday life looking for beauties in a simple way.
Drink coffee.
And exactly, drinking coffee, and having a good chat with each other.
Yeah.
And we finish like this.